Cagayan de Oro City Representative Rufus Rodriguez on Monday pushed for the inclusion of Pag-asa Island off the coast of Palawan Province as a possible site under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, with the United States to deter further aggression from China in the disputed West Philippine Sea, WPS. Rodriguez, chair of the House Constitutional Amendments Committee, made the proposal on Monday, days after U.S. and Philippine officials announced the designation of 4 new EDCA sites. It is in our national interest to pursue and expand our defense partnership with the U.S. to deter further aggression from China in the West Philippine Sea and possible Chinese seizure of islets that belong to us under international law, he said in a statement. Rodriguez added, the expanded EDCA should be further broadened. More sites along our western seaboard, where Chinese aggression and harassment of our fishermen have been taking place, should be covered. Joint maritime patrols by the Philippines and the U.S. in the South China Sea will greatly help in reducing encroachments by Chinese vessels as well as incidents of harassment against Filipino fishermen and other local vessels in the West Philippine Sea, WPS, senators said yesterday. Senators Francis Escudero and Sherwin Gatchalian, in separate interviews with Radio DWIZ, welcomed the announcement from Defense Secretary Carlito Galvez and his U.S. counterpart Lloyd Austin III on the restart of joint patrols in response to growing regional security challenges. Escudero said the planned joint patrols as well as the move to allow U.S. access to more military bases in the Philippines under the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, should not be cause for worry that they might trigger hostile reaction from Beijing. For me, it's clear that our ally, when it comes to security and military, is the U.S., and not China. While we have relations with China in terms of trade and other relations, we don't have any military or security agreement with China, Escudero said. For those saying we might anger China, I don't believe that a government or country should make decisions based on fear or what other nations might think of us, he said. He said the U.S. has been the Philippines' security ally since the late 1940s, so there is no reason not to continue that and what the president saw as in the interest of our country, being the chief architect of our foreign policy. He said President Marcos has a mandate to execute foreign policy, which is why the only participation of the Senate on treaties and agreements is to affirm or reject them. The Philippine Coast Guard has stepped up its presence in the disputed South China Sea by deploying additional vessels and conducting more sorties and overflights to protect maritime territory and the country's fishermen, its chief said on Monday, February 6. Beijing's sweeping claims of sovereignty over the waterway have drawn repeated complaints from Manila, which has ramped up its rhetoric against reported Chinese construction activities and the swarming of Chinese vessels in the resource-rich waterway. We're making sure that the presence of Coast Guard vessels is felt by the fishermen in the area, Admiral Artemio Abu, commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard, PCG, said in an interview.